Okay, on to example 3. I don't think we need to do 3. It looks pretty straightforward because it's just commenting code. So we'll move instead on to number 4, which was all about web service. So let's just double check we can import web service. We can't. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the sys.path.append in our notebook. So what we want to do is import sys and then sys.path.append. And since I can't remember exactly where I put this, I'm going to open up my terminal. I can see my bin for pi in my course code, so I'm going to go cd into bin for pi and then pwd. So remember, if you're in a Windows computer, you're going to have to do it, you're going to have to escape the characters. So each time you see a slash, you'll have to do 2 of them. So just remember that if you're on a Windows computer, and it'll look something like C:// etc. So yeah, make sure you got 2 slashes. Great, now that we've added that in, we can just run that and it works. So for this one, what we wanted to do for we want to open this file, use transcriptome.txt, and extract the uniprot identifiers and store them in a list. So again, we'll do it in our notebook first, and then I'll do it in a test situation so that I can use that code later on. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this, and again, I'll show you the easiest one first. Just getting to where I actually put it on my other one so that I don't take too long. Okay, cool. So IDs is just a list, and for we need to open up the file, so you can do this in Python as so. I'm just going to copy and paste the name because I'm not good at typing. You want to open this file for reading, so you do R+, and we'll just do that as file in. So this is the pointer to the file, so you can't directly read that, but what you can do is you can do loops on it and things like that. So for line and fn is just going to get each line in that file, and what we want to do is we want to do ids.append line. So let's actually have a look at transcriptome, use transcriptome.txt first. Okay, we can see that it's a tab separated file, and we can see that we want to get the first element of that. So we want to do line.split on the tab character, and we want to get the first element, which is in the 0 column. So then we can just print IDs. Why did that not like that? Oh, for line in, my bad. Cool, so super easy. We can also do it another way. Say we have pandas installed, you might need to install that with pip install pandas on your terminal. So if I didn't have it installed, I'd go to my terminal and I'd type that in, press enter. I don't need to do that, but I could also go import pandas as PD, and then I could just open this file using a pandas data frame. So I'm going to go df equals pd.read csv, same file name, and I'm going to say header equals none. So as we can see, there's no header, which is the labels that you'd normally have. And I'm also going to say that separator is a T. And now I can say IDs equals df. We know it's a column 0 dot values and then IDs. So exactly the same thing, but just 2 ways of doing it. As usual, I like to give you guys multiple ways of doing things. So now what we can do in prac0, let's do code for pull this file name, copy and paste whichever one you want to do in. This is probably more efficient, and let's write something about what it does. Takes a file name and gets protein IDs. So probably if this was your own code, you might want to give this a more useful name, because you might be reusing these functions such as get protein IDs or something. And we're going to do this here instead of having the exact thing, and instead of printing the IDs, we're going to return them. Cool. So again, we could write a small test for this. Def test prac0 for A, and what we're going to do is copy this in and call IDs equals I can't remember what I called the code 4A, intuitive, code 4A, and then file name. And then what we want to do is we want to check assert ID 0 is what we expect it to be, so we expect it to be this one. And maybe we could also check the length of it, or we'd check the last element as well. And you can get the last element by just doing -1. So we can just run this. Oh, test failed. No such file. Ha, okay, cool. So since our tests are here and our files, our use transcriptome is over there, we can copy and paste it in, or what we can do is we can reference it. So if you're on Windows, I'd suggest copying and pasting it in. If you're on Mac or Linux, you can do this purely because the way that the path goes is slightly different. So if you're on Windows, it'll be something like //code//practical, something like that, but I'm not certain for sure. Cool, so now let's check that this works. Great, so that worked. So it's always good to test these things because you might be doing the wrong thing. Fantastic, so I'll pause it there and come back to the next one. Great, so we're back again for the last couple of questions, so let's reread them because I forget. So for B, what we want to do for each protein identifier stored in the list, retrieve the list of Go terms. In the list, we want to retrieve the Go terms. So conveniently, we were provided up above with this code. So what we want to do is get Go terms. So we're just going to run the exact same thing, except using our IDs. So make sure it's a list, pass it to that. So while that's running, it might take a little bit of time. Let's go and look what we need to do for code 4C. So for each protein, identify if the Go term includes this, so the nucleus Go term, or if it is a transcription factor. So I'm just going to copy those down to here, nucleus, create that as a string, and transcription factor. Okay, let's print out result and have a look at what it is. Cool, so now we've got where our IDs and we've got the Go terms. So we can very simply just iterate through our list and see if for each protein, whether it has the nucleus or the transcription factor Go term. And what do we want to do if we get this? So we want to, okay, so we'll just copy these down here so I can do it exactly. So basically for protein in IDs, so this result is already a dictionary, so we want to go if result.get, and if you can see, our protein IDs have been prefixed with this. So what we're going to do is this, followed by the protein ID. So firstly, we check if this exists in our database. Then what we have is the Go list equals, actually I'll do this. So if Go list, so if we have a list of Go terms, now we want to check our conditions if they're met. So if nucleus in Go list, and we'll do this actually in one line, and TF in Go list, then we're going to print that it is we'll print the protein ID and then say what it is. So we'll print protein, a transcription factor in the nucleus. And since we're doing else if, because if that's met, then this one can't be met. So if it's in the nucleus, we're going to go on non-TF in the nucleus. So copy this line, non-TF. And then we'll go elif tf in Go, and we're going to print again. This time we're saying it's a transcription factor, but it's not in the nucleus. And then else, we're just going to have the other situation, which is just neither non-TF, not in the nucleus. Cool. So that should all work. Let's check. Run. Oh no, Go is not defined. Where? Oh, Go list. Run. Perfect. So basically we have what each of them are, and we've only actually got one, which is both a transcription factor and the nucleus, and that's the only transcription factor we have. The rest are non-transcription factors, some are in the nucleus and some are not. So very nice and easy. And again, I'm going to show you how to convert this into code for your prac0. So I'm going to call this code for a get IDs so that we can remember what it is. Def code 4B, 4C, we're going to call it, actually we'll do 4B, get Go terms, IDs, list, and we'll copy this one. It's cool, so this is saying that we need web service in here. I think we've set, we haven't set binfy as a source. Great, so what we're going to do is on our PyCharm, we'll go preferences, project structure, and we're going to set binfy as a source, and then we're going to go import web service. Perfect, so easy. The other thing we could have done is just copy that sys.path.append and put that at the top here, but this is slightly nicer. Gets Go terms for a list. So this is a bit, we don't really need to do this because this is only one line anyway, but whatever. For C, and what we want to do is print info. So what we want to do is print the information for Go result and a set of IDs, also a list. So this one's actually a dictionary. So I'm just writing again what this does so that, you know, if I come back to this in a couple of days, I can remember, because sometimes that happens and it gets annoying if you forget. So cool, let's just copy our code into there. Can we make this nicer? You know what, I reckon we can. So let's copy this in, and then I'll show you how to make this one a little bit nicer. So if there's something which is actually printing stuff out, I like to make my print statements a little bit nicer than just using the normal print. So I'll show you some cool little hacks. This again, you really don't need to do this or know how to do this, but I think it's nice. So I'm just gonna get up something I have. So there's colors that you can do, so you can print stuff in colors, which I think is just really nice. So these are just the default colors that you can get from the internet. Now if I want to print something, I'm going to print a message, but I'm going to print it in color. So I will do it using OK green. So for example, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go print, and before I do my print statement, I'm going to do OK, and then I'm going to add it onto that. Oh, sorry, bc colors dot OK green, and then I'm going to make sure that I turn the colors off. bc colors dot end color. So let's check that this works, and we'll do the same thing in here. So we'll go back to tense binfy and def test prac0 for CB. Cool. What I first want to do is I'm going to get the IDs. So this stuff all builds off each other. now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, from those IDs, get the results. So get go terms, IDs, and then what I'm going to do is my lucky last one, which is print information. So, and I think I used the go terms was first, and then IDs was next. So we can run this all together and see how we go. Hopefully everything works and I get one of them printing in color. Cool. So beautiful. So if it's transcription factor in the nucleus, now it comes up highlighted in green. You know what? For each of these situations, let's make them a different color because, you know, this is kind of fun, right? So instead of okay green, let's make this one yellow or something. Also, we'll do it slightly nicer, so I don't need to do it there. I can do bccolors dot okay blue, and at the end I will put bccolors dot nc. So it's a transcription factor not in the nucleus. I mean, what color could that be? bccolors dot, let's make it yellow. And you can get even more colors than these ones, but these are just the defaults. And if it's not a TF and not the nucleus, let's just leave it as plain white, because, you know, that's not as exciting as any of the others, right? So now we can see the blue ones, we can see that none were actually yellow, which is exactly what we noticed before, but I had a space there. But yeah, that's just a nice little thing that we can do if we're running code. So slightly more in depth for C than you probably wanted or needed, but oh well.